If you were a computer freak in the late 80s or 90s, lived in the UK, you probably had an Amiga or an Atari ST. I had the Amiga. What a machine, from the Amiga 500, let's not talk about the Amiga 600, to the Amiga 1200 with the AGA graphics. What a machine, what an era, what a time for the demo scene as well. Absolutely amazing what some really talented programmers could get the machine to do. From amazing 3D effects, weird effects, as you can see half-naked ladies dancing on the screen there, to crazy little demos like Pugsy. What a cute little alien just wandering down the street, getting attacked by a dog. Many other things I did on the Amiga. Most of it was to do with programming using Amos Professional, which there is a game later on in this video which I wrote and designed, written in Amos Professional, which is out there in the universe. But one of my other absolute favourite things to do was mod tracking, creating music with the Amiga. Wow, the things you could create back in the days when copyright didn't matter. Swobbly here. Swobbly does stuff, back with another video around Amiga games. Some of the 25 out of the hundreds of games that I bloody loved when playing the Amiga back mostly throughout the whole of the 90s. Some bloody good games. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to my channel for more retro gaming videos. Hit the bell icon as well. You get notified of any future content when I pop it out on YouTube. Why not join the channel? See videos early, get some custom badges, all that kind of great stuff. Anyway, they're not in any kind of order. There's no way I could have put these 25 games in a top 25 order. So, good old-fashioned alphabetical order. Plus, at the end, the game I made. Stay tuned, enjoy the video. Catch you at the end. Alien Breed Tower Assault by Team 17 is a sci-fi top-down shooter where you find the tower, get in, shoot all the aliens, collect keys, collect your ammo, collect health packs, collect anything you can find, shoot the crap out the aliens, but most of all, and the most important thing to find, is the exit of the level. Because if you don't, you're gonna die. That's right, find the exit so you know exactly where it is, complete the objective, and then get the hell out of there. It was a fantastic fun game. The graphics were not super. It was none of that 3D malarkey or ray tracing or any of that crap. Nice sound effects, nice simple graphics, frantic gameplay, and you also had reverse shooting so you could like run away from the aliens while still blasting the living crap out of them. So many hours on this game, absolutely loved it. Took me hours playing it. This was the first bit of the capture. Another Team 17 game, Alien Breed 3D2. Follow on from the previous Alien Breed game. This time though, it's all in 3D. Yeah, the graphics weren't great. It's nothing like Doom Eternal or anything like that, but back on the lowly Amiga, it was a bloody good game. It used to crap you up, opening a door, having an alien stood there, and then blasting the shite out of them. So much fun. Some of the levels really difficult. This is just the start of the game, finding my way around or trying to remember where the hell I was going for the most part of it. Super fun, not quite as fun as it used to be, and nowhere near as good as some of the 3D shooters we get nowadays in 2024. But back in the 90s, this was the best we were going to get on the Amiga, and it was pretty damn good and enjoyable as well. So many hours on this game. Base Jumpers by Rasputin Software is one of those weird, crazy little games where you play a base jumper, of course, running up the tower, collecting bonuses, splatting the bad guys, get to the top. Once you do, you and 3 either friends or computer-controlled people race to the floor, avoiding obstacles, knocking each other, and normally just getting impaled by anything that gets in your way. It's a bloody fun game. The graphics, cute, fun,
colourful, nice sound effects of splats and yeehaw when they jump off the top of the building. Oh, I spent so many hours playing this game like all the others in my top 25, but this one was quite fun. I was crap at the game. The running up the tower, no worries at all, pretty damn good at that. The bit I sucked at was the bit where you come down the tower. Nasty, but fun. If you've watched any of my other videos, you're probably thinking, why is he putting a beat-em-up game in his top 25? Well, I used to absolutely bloody love this game, that's why. Body blows, all the different variations. Again, another Team 17 game where you get to fight dinosaurs. Who doesn't like beating up dinosaurs? Well, I certainly did. Wasn't exactly any good at the game, and yeah, I couldn't win a match when I replayed it recently to capture this footage. Oh, the beauty of having one button to do stuff. It makes things so difficult. There's not a button for high punch or low punch and kicks and jumps and this, that and the other. Just a joystick with one button to press. I couldn't figure out what the hell I was doing. I absolutely sucked at this, as I suck at every single fighting game ever. But it was still fun. I enjoyed it, kind of. Breathless is one of those 3D games that actually made me go out and buy an accelerator just so that I could play it at a higher frame rate and a higher definition. It wasn't as great as 3D shooters of today, or even back then on the PC, Doom and Doom 2 or whatever number it was up to around the time was out there. But this game, I loved it. It had some great levels. All the enemies pretty much looked the same, but you could fire rockets at them. We all love shooting rockets at people. Look at Rocket Arena. But yeah, this game, this was such a walk back in time for me. Didn't have a clue where the hell I was going. I just wanted to shoot the bad guys, and I did. Although I think they kind of killed me more, but still a fun game. Not something I'd probably dive into nowadays, but back then, hours of gameplay. Right in the Line was one of those cute, colourful platform games that saw you play a lion running through the jungle, trying to figure out what the hell you gotta do, jumping on snails, and other weird animals like tigers that were pretty cute as well. Pixel precision jumping was the name of the game, and also blindly jumping in the air hoping that you actually land on something that was useful rather than falling to your death or landing into a pit of crap. Oh, I spent so long playing this game, nearly completed it, but some of the levels later on were really hard. It was one of those games where you push forward on the joystick to keep your momentum going when you press the jump button. It was difficult. God, glad we've got decent controllers nowadays and decent physics with a jump button. Fantastic. Still loved it though. Still bloody hard. Fears, which was on the CD32, but I couldn't find much information about it while searching the internet. All I found out, it was published by a German company, but that's about it. Nowadays you can run Fears using the new Z-Doom engine on your PC, but back then it was painfully slow. But as a fan of 3D games, yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was pretty scary running around and getting splattered by these great big red blob heads. Kind of reminded me of Doom in a way, but I couldn't play Doom on the Amiga. You needed an 04030 processor just to be able to play basic Doom. This ran on a standard CD32 or an Amiga 1200, so I had to play it. But it was fun, it was enjoyable, it had good level design. Bloody hard game though, especially running at about half a frame a year. Still, I enjoyed it. Gloom was Doom, but with extra zoom. Yeah, absolutely shite graphics, but the speed of it, unbelievable. Written by a very talented programmer using something called Blitz Basic. What a classic, running around blasting the crap out of, people that looked like they were actually in Doom. But, stuff copyright and all of that, artistic license. But the levels were fast, they were fun, they were manic, they were amazing. I love this bloody game. It was so like, whoa. Got you on the edge of your seat, blasting the crap out of things. There was a Gloom 3 as well. There wasn't a Gloom 2 because it was never actually published. You can play it on PCs with enhanced graphics and levels, with a few engines out there nowadays. But as a game, I really enjoyed this. Still love playing it today as well. James Pond 3, the third in the series, don't know what gave that away, is a pure and utter Mario kind of rip-off. Just with a little bit of extra. He's got freaking weird little boots that allows him to walk up things, over things, under things and all sorts. This one only released on the AGA computer, so only the Amiga 1200 and 4000. They also got rid of the ability to stretch your boots up to reach really, really high, which I found quite annoying because I used to like the aspect of the other two. But this one, I found it the most favourite out of all three. Loved playing this game. Didn't quite understand what the hell I was up to this time round. Doesn't mean I didn't enjoy playing it. It's still a fun game. It's still cute. It's got nice little graphics. It's definitely not Mario. We never got Mario on the Amiga, so we had to make do with little rip-off clones like this. But this was a fun game. I really enjoyed replaying this one. As I said, no clue what the hell I was doing. All I knew, go forward. Jungle Strike was one of those games that I had such a fond memory of, and I thought it was a highly action-packed, fly a helicopter around, blasting all the bad guys. Replaying this though, I was slightly disappointed. I found it a bit clanky with the controls and hardly anything to blow up. I was gutted. I was looking forward to playing this. I don't know what memory of this game that was flapping around in my brain going back from yesteryear, but replaying it, I was so bored. Where did the memory come from? Maybe I was thinking of a different game. But I remember the square crisscross roads and going around hovering over the fuel dumps to get refueled and shooting little men. I remember loving this game. Replaying it now, I found it very sad, very dreary. What did I ever see in it? If I am remembering a completely different game, please let me know in the comment down below. It was such a tough call. Parasol Stars or Rainbow Islands. Both games, oh, bloody well loved them. But because of the cutesy music, the simpleness of the levels, the colourfulness, it had to be Parasol Stars. Now, I'm sure this was in the arcade at some point. All the Bob and Bob games were, like even Rainbow Islands was. I'm pretty sure I played that in the arcade. But this for me was one of the best little platform puzzly type weird games, especially because you could just collect loads of water on your umbrella and smash the living crap out of everything. It was a great single player game. I'm sure you could play 2 players. Get off, no one's touching my Amiga and playing with me. I'm going to play on my own like a sad little gaming nerd I am. Love collecting all the water. Oh, nearly had a full amount there to splat along. One of my favourite little puzzly games ever. There were certain games on the Amiga that I'd sit down for a gaming session of around 4 or 5 hours. Populous was one of those games. Very slow, very calculated, flatten your land, build your castles, increase your population, attack the other side. Fantastic fun, even if the pace of it was slower than an old age pensioner queuing up to get their pension down at the post office. Although that goes straight into their bank accounts nowadays, so they don't even have to queue down at the post office. I'm sure they still do for the sake of it. But this game, many hours sat there, building land, flattening land, dropping volcanoes on people, all sorts of weird and wonderful stuff. Not so fussed on Populous 2, but Powermonger, the other one from this company, love that one as well, but Populous wins it for me. Don't you just love being a god? Back to one of my favourite game creating companies, Team 17 with a bit of Project X. Yeah, we all know it's a bit of a rip-off of R-Type. Every shooting, scrolling, blast 'em up alien, crap, whatever, it's all based off R-Type. Project X for me had an element of difficulty and speed that kind of appealed to me. pick up the little letters and randomly, accidentally power up a weapon, make yourself faster, fly into a rock and die. The excitement of blasting crap from left, right, centre, up, down, wherever was just something I enjoyed. I love firing this game up. I've even done it a few times over the years, and to record this video, yeah, I had a pretty good run of it. Don't think I completed the game or even a few levels. I bloody well enjoyed it, and that was the basics of Team 17 games. Bloody enjoyable. I'd still say, even today, that this is the best scrolling shoot 'em up Amiga ever had. If you know me in real life, you know I can't stand bloody football. Rich men running around, earning more money per hour than I do per year. Shoot the bloody lot of them. Sensible soccer though, what a fun game. I bloody love this game. Couldn't stand any other football game ever. Forgive me FIFA? Nah, don't want it. Goal? Nah, didn't like it. Sensible soccer? Brilliant. Little bloody men running around kicking a football that's nearly half the size of their body into a massive goal. What a result. Now, I'm not going to say I was bloody fantastic at this game by any means, but I used to win a good few matches. If it was a World Cup or an international match, yeah, there is a good chance I'd have got into the top 2 or 3. I wouldn't have won the tournament, but I've given it my best shot. I loved this game, and replaying it, yeah, such fun. Loved it. It didn't even bother me that half the time the game didn't even have real team names, real player names, or even the right colours. Yeah, it was just fun. Skeleton Crew was always one of those games that I found very hard to play. Replaying it this time round, no idea what was going on, but my weapon was spinning around like a roundabout on acid. It was a bit weird. It made it even harder. But I remember enjoying this game so damn much. Blasting the aliens, running around, figuring out where I was going. Brought back memories, I can tell you. Still, I completely and utterly forgot that you can drop mines and self-exploding whatever they were. Figured it out in the end, managed to blast a few things. Got to the end of level boss, couldn't figure out what the bloody hell I was trying to do. Oh, it's been so long since I've played this game. What an absolute blast from the past. A pleasure to play it. And probably my most memorable isometric 3D run around shoot the bad guys game ever on the Amiga. Speedball 2. There are no words to describe how good this game is. Yep, it's kind of like American football, because you throw things into a goal. But that's where the similarity ends. You can punch the crap out of each other, score points, throw it around a loop, light some lights up, get bonuses. Oh, you can even get players sent off for being too violent. I love this game. This was one of the few games where having a mate to play with was such fun. Nowadays, does it stand up? Yeah, of course it does. It's a bloody classic. There's nothing like Speedball 2. Not even today. There's nothing like it. It was a one of its kind. Well, apart from Speedball, the first game, I suppose, but Speedball 2 improved on that tenfold. One of my favourite. Could you call it a sport game? Nah, it's one of the favourite violent games. Get in. Superfrog, another Team 17 classic, this time a platform game. From the beginning of the game with the little frog chorus song, classic. Cute little graphics, colourful, fast. Kind of difficult, those annoying bees that used to knock you all over the place unless you bounced on their heads. Spikes to stick up your bum. Got hit by bees. Coins to collect. Lucasade, it was actually sponsored by Lucasade if I remember rightly. Not sure they'd do that again nowadays. Hidden tunnels, springs. Yeah, probably a bit of a Mario inspiration going on here. But as a game, one of my favourite little platform games. Really enjoyed replaying this as well. Found the controls a little bit finicky and oversensitive to say the least, because it's one of those games where you jump and you control how far you go, and yeah, you just end up dying half the time. Great bloody fun to say the least. Super Skidmarks was the follow-up to Skidmarks. I love Skidmarks, not those ones. I don't wear pants. But little cars, little ray-traced cars by the looks of it. If they're not ray-traced, well, what were they, eh? Rotoscoped or something like that back in the day? Who knows? Little cars racing around the track, leaving skid marks. Guess that was the inspiration for the name of the game. It was bloody fast. You could even play over a modem. Don't think I ever tried it. Don't think I had a telephone back then either. But the game was so bloody fun and really hard as well when you went on the faster cars. Jesus, trying to control it round the corner was bloody impossible. Did it put me off the game at all? No. Absolutely bloody loved replaying this one. To say anything about it would be just a fantastic game. Loved it, couldn't fault it. Graphics are shit, but yeah, it was fun, and that's the main thing. Another racing game that was at the top of my favourite list was Supercars II, a top-down racer with rockets. You could fire forwards, you could fire backwards, you could drop mines, you could do all sorts of things. You could jump over bridges, slide round corners. I bloody loved this game. Oh, it was such a pleasure to relive the experience of racing round really poor graphics, cars that were like crap, but firing a rocket at people. Oh, what a game. I spent so many hours playing this. I used to love the little music at the end of the levels as well, like doing air guitar to it. What a twat. But still, I loved racing around, crappy little graphics, but super gameplay. That's what made the Amiga great, but also having really addictive gameplay. Syndicate was one of those games that was a strategy game. Now, I wasn't a massive fan of strategy games, but Syndicate was one of those that really captured my attention. Teeny weeny little men that you send on missions to shoot people. It kind of reminded me of UFO Enemy Unknown, which I was also very much, and I also loved. But this, little men going around, finding the enemies, shooting them before they shot you. Bloody loved it. I can't think of any games that are similar, apart from that little Halo game that's a strategy game. Can't remember the name of it. But I've probably played this a hell of a lot more than I played that one. This game, not bad graphics, 3D, but fun and kept you entertained. Theme Park was one of those games even girls like to play on the Amiga, and I say that because my sisters, although they may be like 15 years younger than me, used to love playing Theme Park. They used to love building up roller coasters, making them super fast, and then watching the punters fly off the top to their death. Your little men wandering around, enjoying the drinks, enjoying the food, jumping on the rides, you putting your prices up, them getting all upset, janitors to fix things, litter pickers to tidy up the park. It had absolutely everything. So many hours sat there wasting my life building a theme park that was rubbish, but I enjoyed it, and that was the main thing. One of those games I still enjoyed playing today, although not quite as good as it used to be, but still a bloody classic. I think we've been spoiled with modern day roller coaster simulators. UFO Enemy Unknown is a turn-based strategy game where you battle aliens, steal their technology, learn new stuff, improve your crew, kit them out with new and exciting weapons, and then go off and kill more aliens. It was a slow-paced game, but one that I spent way too many hours playing. I've even played the more up-to-date ones on the Xbox. Still gotta say, absolutely love the concept, just wish it was a little bit faster. Going around the buildings, timing how many steps you made, setting yourself up to shoot the aliens, and then they weren't in the right place to kill them. Frustrating game, but a fun game. God, if I could get back the hours that I put into this and got £1 for every one, I'd be an extremely rich person. But then I wouldn't have had the enjoyment of experiencing UFO Enemy Unknown. When Worms first came out, I thought, hang on a minute, here's a rip-off of Gravity Tanks. There was something extra about it. Worms that could fire multiple weapons, blow each other up, and the best part about Worms, and this for me sealed the deal. You could create your own samples. So instead of going, oh no, and bye bye, you could put swear words in there. You could make a worm say, you absolute fucker, when someone blew you up. You could use famous voices. There were loads of sample packs. It was one of the most addictive games ever brought out. There were so many different versions, even nowadays, all across different platforms. Thousands of different versions of Worms. All of them are really good, apart from Worms 3D, which was absolutely shit. Don't ever play Worms 3D. It's a massive disappointment. Every other version of Worms, bloody brilliant. Zeewolf 2, obviously the sequel to Zeewolf. 3D graphics, I think they were classed as vector graphics that were a bit coloured in by crayon back then. You played an assault helicopter going around with different missions, blasting the crap out the enemies. Different weapons, different tanks, different missions. Land here, shoot that, collect this, pick up refugees. I had a fascination with 3D games. It was just something different about them, exploring in 3 dimensions. Even nowadays, I love a 3D game, especially a 3D shooter. A 3D romping around in a helicopter game on the Amiga back in the 90s. Loved this game, loved exploring, loved not collecting fuel and crashing into the floor, obviously. Difficulty level, yeah, it took a little while to get into it again. I can honestly say I really enjoyed replaying this. It was such a fun game. What surprised me more is I actually managed to complete the first mission as well. Zool was one of those platform games that had so much hype. All the Amiga magazines carried a demo, raved about it. It was okay. After playing it, I could see the enjoyment factor was going to be extremely high. Really colourful backgrounds, little ant or whatever he was jumping around. Sponsored by Chupa Chups, everybody likes a lollipop to suck. And there was that special thing where you collected a power up and you had multiple little Zools firing all over the place. It was like a little shadow monster chasing around. This game was frustrating, but it was also fun. I really enjoyed this as a platform game, and replaying it, yeah, it did seem a little bit slow and clunky compared to how it used to play, but still a bloody enjoyable game, and the last of my 25 most favourite Amiga games from my younger days. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed looking back over some of my favourite games ever on the Amiga computer system, whether that was on the 500, the 1200 or even the CD32. So much fun looking back on some of the games, some of them so good. Really enjoyed playing them. Some of them, Jungle Strike, what the bloody hell was I thinking about? That game sucked. Sucked then, sucked even more now. If I had to pick my most favourite game out of all of them, it would be Worms. Absolutely loved it, especially putting naughty words in as well. So much fun there. But now, as promised, here's the game that I wrote, Wheel of Fortune. Never heard of it? No, you probably haven't. I did release it, not as public domain, not a shareware, just something I gave to the community. Uploaded it on Aminet as well. It was written by me and an old friend of mine called Lloyd. Well, I say written by him. I rewrote all of his code because it was bugged. It didn't work and it kept crashing. It used Amos Professional. Loved programming Amos Professional. Such a versatile language. Not that powerful, but it was easy to learn and I'd done some good stuff on it. Wheel of Fortune, it's out there. The link will be in the description down below. Download it, have a play, you might enjoy it. Although some of the questions, they're based in the late 90s, so if you're a young'un, you're not going to have a bloody clue. But it's a fun game. Enjoy it. I certainly enjoyed making it and I'd love to hear your opinion of it. If I've missed any games though, leave a comment down below. If you think, he should have put that in there. But I didn't because it wasn't in my top 25 and it was hard enough choosing those 25, never mind anything else. Brutal Football, that should have been in there. Cannon Fodder, that definitely should have been in there. But nope, I picked the other 25 games because they were my favourites. They're my favourites, not yours, they were mine. Anyway, I may do a bit more Amiga stuff. I may look into playing around with some of the new OSs and trying to get some of the classic games like Fearless running a little bit better than it did back then. It's going to be fun exploring either way. But if you enjoy my videos, don't forget, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, go that extra mile and join, and hit that bell icon to get notified of future content. This is Swobbly. Swobbly does stuff. It's the end of the video. Catch you in the next one.